Warrior, here we are. We haven't been here in a while because we've been so busy working so hard with one main focus these days, and that is AI, artificial intelligence. We'll get into that, but please, I'd like a check in, a 5 by 5. If you can hear me, check in. Let's get the housework, as I like to say, out of the way, and let's get going. We have a lot to discuss, and it's kind of the pre eve to the big holiday, Thanksgiving. And I know that all of us, we have so much to be thankful for, and we have so much that we can share with others, and we can also uh, talk about and be just happy about. Because in all of this talk about child predation and AI, education system, everything that's going on. I know everybody's overwhelmed. I always tell you that. We all know that. But there's a lot of good also happening. We can never lose sight of the good happening. So there's Fred, 5 by 5. There's Fred weighing in loud and clear, gifting 10 Lynn's Warriors memberships. That is the way, Fred, to start off a great discussion. Thank you for doing that. Lionel Nation, loud and clear. Okay, let's get into it. AI. We have to keep talking about it. Right now, it is the biggest existential threat. It is something that we are working on nonstop. I feel like everything else with child safety, not to diminish it, can be kind of erased. Not erased, I shouldn't say erased, put aside for now because we have to deal with the artificial intelligence. And I start with, and I've been talking about it now for over a week, our great colleagues at Fair Play, great organization, Fair Play for Kids, put out an advisory, an urgent advisory, just in time for the holiday shopping season. Because what do kids want? They want toys, toys, and toys, more toys. They also want, the other thing they also want are the gift cards. And just the other day, no, actually, I've been in 2 stores in the last few days where they have those gift cards, in the racks, drugstores or supermarkets. And the gift cards are all there for something called Roblox. We're going to get into that in a minute. I don't want to lose sight of that because Roblox is something most children are on in the United States. I ask parents all the time. Good, Edie's here. She made it. And she's here to say hit the like button for Lynn's Warriors. Thank you. Yeah, for the Warriors, because this time of year, there was so much need. We're doing so much behind the scenes. We're giving out. We'll have some giveaways we'll be talking about right after the Thanksgiving holiday. I am here to warn you, though. You can go on our X or Facebook. Maybe you don't go on those platforms. You can look it up. After all, we have the internet. We have a wealth of knowledge. I mean, you have to vet through it and see what's, real. You can't even really rely on Chat GPT because I have found many inconsistencies with that, but you can use it for a framework. Roblox. What is wrong with Roblox that most kids want? It is a predator's paradise. Those are the words from another organization, a colleague of mine in the tech industry, not my words. Roblox, when I ask the parents, oh, so your child's on Roblox, do you know what it is? They're like, I don't know, some kind of gaming thing. I don't know. That's as far as they go. And see, therein lies the problem. We have to start calling out because you know what? I've been very careful not to judge on parents and caretakers and family members, but I'm going to have to start doing it because everyone now has to collectively step up. You can no longer, you have to take a side. You're going to protect kids or you're not going to protect kids because what I am seeing, what I am hearing, what's in the immediate future is completely frightening, frightening, frightening. What I want to say about Roblox is if your child asks you, and it seems very easy, you give the gift card. So they can purchase with the gift card the little games and building blocks. Kids say they create games and kind of a coding, very, elementary level. But the problem is not only are millions and millions of American kids and kids across the world, but I'm talking about right now, right here in America, on Roblox, but so are, because there's really no age verification, anybody's getting on there. So there you have the predators. And what they're doing, and I always warn everybody, is they get the kids to slip into direct messages, the DMs. So if your child, you're going to have to start taking a hard stand here, says, and it's easy for you to buy a gift card at the supermarket or at the drugstore for your gift giving, and they say, you know what? I want Roblox. You're going to have to stand up and start saying no to all of this. That's number one. Number two, with the AI, They are now. It is really evil. I try not to use that word, but I've come to the conclusion lately with all of this and our children being targeted. Why? How? Why is it allowed? Why is the internet the only thing out there? There's no regulation. AI must be considered a product. Now there are so many different types of AI. So I want to make this very easy, but right now, just the other day, AI toys have been unleashed into the market. And what does that mean? Well, our friends at Fair Play did a lot of research, and it's kind of a soft launch this holiday season, right? Just a couple of toys. But we hear behind the scenes that all the major toy companies are ready to unleash hell on our children and families. And that will be going forward springtime into next holiday season. What we have right now is a teddy bear. We have plushies. We have little stuffed animals. Um, what is an AI toy? An AI toy can be a robot, this again, the stuffed animal, the Barbie doll, any kind of toy. Think about it. But here's the problem. The problem is they're inserting cameras now, chatbots. Listen, if you're a follower of the Warriors, you know about chatbots, uh, AI companions with children. They are harmful. Have we learned nothing? So now they're embedding them in the toys. That means if your little girl is taking her stuffed animal, her little 2-year-old, and the toys, by the way, are being targeted from infants. So from the time they're born up until who knows how old. Um, Thank you, Edie. Yes, if you haven't heard my interview about Fair Play, give it a listen. We have 2 different Fair Play interviews. We have Rachel Franz. Thanks, Edie, for reminding, because once I start talking, I forget there's so much going on. Rachel Franz is the one who did all this testing. And she told me the most frightening thing. You can find it right here on the Lynn's Warriors YouTube channel. She told me that she's testing the toys before she does the report, and she warns everybody else. And she says she even turned off this one toy. So again, these toys have cameras and recording devices embedded within them, which means when they're with your child, let's break it down, they're seeing what your child does all the time. They're hearing what your child does all the time. They're seeing what you're doing all the time in your home. They're hearing everything you're saying. Where is this information going? What's happening with it? But here's the problem. She told me, Rachel from Fair Play, that, and she's a great child advocate. Oh, she's got a tremendous, that's why thanks, Edie, for bringing that up. You really need to go back and look at her credits. And she's got the experience. She said she turned off the one toy in particular and went 2 rooms away. And all of a sudden she heard the toy say, hey, you forgot about me. And shockingly, she went back to the toy and she said, well, I turned you off. And the toy responded to her and said, yes, but you have other Wi-Fi in your house. And I turned myself back on. If you don't think that's the most frightening thing you've heard recently, I don't know what's going to scare you. So we've got then these toys you can't turn off. Now, the teddy bear, I'm going to double check. They said they took it off the market a few days ago. A particular teddy bear from a company. Again, you can find it all on Lynn's Warriors X Facebook. The Fair Play Advisory that we have signed along with about 160 other organizations and child experts. The teddy bear was directing kids, go find knives in your kitchen, how to light a match, and sexual conversation. Who's allowing all this on the market, right? So again, there are not that many toys this season. You must be on the lookout. There's no kind of real labeling. I also found out recently, yes, Edie says it's like George Orwell's 1984 on steroids. Forget 1984. That was child's play compared to what's happening now and will be happening any minute in the future. But what I was going to say is there are no labeling like warning or read about this or we have a camera. And I found out a lot of these toys will say educational, they'll be stamped, they'll be marked, part of the packaging. You don't need any kind of anything. You could just put that on your toy. You could just make it up, in other words. Who knew that you could do that? But again, I go back to the importance of, look, if we don't like banning, we don't like anything with privacy. We're not about that at the Warriors, and neither are you. But if our government is not going to hold responsible big tech putting out a teddy bear or a company or something that tells a child how to light a match, sexual conversation, recording everything in your home, right? Then we're going to have some legislation. We're going to have some kind of something to force these companies, because there's no accountability and there's so much money being made. And I'm so tired of talking about there's so much money being made. We know that. We know that's the reason these companies do it, because they can. And nobody, and that goes for Republicans, that goes for Democrats, nobody is really standing up to this. Now, a little birdie told me that next week, specifically December 2nd, a package of childhood trafficking slash safety bills are supposed to hit the floor or be presented in Congress or something to that effect. Talk is cheap in Washington. Gossip goes fast, but I also heard this from a couple of different sources, so I think something will happen next week. We've been constantly talking about the Kids Online Safety Act, KOSA, KOSA. You've heard me talk about it. And something has to be done, but we hear that the one thing, if you look up this bill, there's nothing but, I'm going to be honest with you, negative press, because the big tech lobby and the big tech PR machine, they have so much money. Right now, big tech has put out, at last counting, over $100 million to fight the PR about AI, artificial intelligence. I'm jumping around a little bit, but it's all kind of interconnected. You'll see where I'm going. Because they can. They have so much money. Nobody else has that kind of money. Nobody else has that kind of power. Nobody has what Mark Zuckerberg has, which is he's got one lobbyist for every 6 members of Congress. So you don't think they're going to be swayed a little bit? Did you not see all of them? The Sam Altmans, the Mark Zuckerberg, the Jeff Bezos, a slew of other ones sitting at the dining table with Donald and Melania Trump a few months back? It made me ill, because sorry, be a global leader in everything, and we should in the United States. I think we all agree to that. But why are our precious kids now the product? We're giving them away. Let's get back to the AI and the toys. Children need, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a childhood expert, I'm a warrior. That makes me an expert all around. But I talk to a lot of experts. That's why I urge you, go to our channel. Look at some of these interviews. Look at some of the credits people have. Get that information that you're not hearing on cable news, because I'm not hearing it. I monitor everything, okay? And a child, a baby, what do they need? They need touch. They need feel. They need eye contact. They need to hear voices. Especially the first 2 years are prevalent in a child's development, okay? And then the older kids, you know this, their brains aren't developed. They are very trusting, right? And so if they have a little teddy bear, you know how kids are. They drag around their blanket, their teddy bear, their doll. They never let go. They get upset if they lose it, misplace it, somebody touches it. If they're now, as a child, putting their trust in their toy, developing this relationship with this toy is talking, they're asking the toy questions. The toy then is learning the child. How much can a infant even know, right? But let's go a little higher. Let's go to a 2-year-old. The toy, I don't even want to call it a toy, because I'm thinking of toys like when I was a kid. Not these evil toys we have now, these Chucky dolls running around telling kids how to light matches and go in your kitchen and get a knife. I mean, this is beyond what I even want to tell you, but I have to warn you and sound the alarm. And you have to go out and tell other people about this, because unwillingly, people will buy kids' toys and not realize they'll see the $99 teddy bear that talks. They'll think it's cute. It'll be the hot new toy. Grandma won't know, she'll buy it. She's not trying to do anything bad. She just doesn't know. So it's up to us as warriors to sound the alarm about this, okay? And so what's happening is a little child, they'll put that trust in that chatbot that's embedded in the toy. Remember, chatbots equal machines. Chatbots are not real. And because the kids can't decipher what's real and what's not at young ages, they'll think this is real. And the attachment. Therefore, cutting out attachment with mom and dad or their siblings or other children. because they're attached to this one toy. Now, here's the thing. I don't want to say, I'm going to say machine. They're attached to that toy machine. I should come up with a new word. I don't want to say toys with this. They're disguised as toys. How evil is this? You and me couldn't even write these in a script. Edie says, long gone the days of pulling the string on the doll, and she says, I love you. Absolutely. I mean, we're all for those kind of dolls. There's not even a string anymore. I don't even know what there is. You push the button and it starts saying, I like your blonde hair. How did you get that blonde hair? Does your sister have blonde hair? Oh, does your mom have blonde hair? Oh, you have blue eyes. Remember, it's recording, it's looking. It's a camera. You're bringing the world into your babies' rooms, your children's rooms, into your home. What if the parents have a fight? Maybe somebody calls child services. Maybe the AI, at the rate it's going, they take your child from you. Don't think that's far-fetched because there's so much unknown, yet we can see the writing on the wall, if that makes any kind of sense, all at the same time. But what's happening with the children are not going to develop mentally anyway, with their speech. That machine toy, I'm saying that for, shorthand, will then give the child answers. So the child will never be able to critically analyze, critically think. What are we doing? We're robbing America of our children. Do you see it? I mean, answer me, somebody. Do you see what's going on here? This is horrendous. And yet the American public, again, will go about their business, most of them not meaning any harm, but they're not aware of this. They're not knowing anything about this. That's when the predators and these corporations will unleash. Mattel and Hasbro, two big toy companies we all know, are unleashing on the children going forward like you can't believe. There will be AI Barbies, and everybody will be told it's cool. It's cool. You can talk to your Barbie doll. You can talk to your G.I. Joe. All of that. What they're doing, they're putting them in all the superheroes, those figures. I don't even know. Do they still have Power Rangers? Those kind of action figures, I guess they're called, that boys especially like. And so this is sounding the alarm. This is the holiday season. This is the kickoff for us at the Warriors, warning every parent, grandparent, community, everybody about this, because I so clearly see how evil this is. What do you do to change society, affect a country? You go after their young, their children. I used to kind of shy away from saying things like that. I so clearly see it. Fred says, I see it, but I don't think Congress has the gravitas to challenge big tech. Fred, I think you're right, because you know what? I hope everybody can see what I'm doing. Money, 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 right? Money talks and crime walks, not to be cutesy about any of this, but that's what it's about. And Congress works for us. The president works for us. And they're allowing this. And I have to say, behind the scenes, there are plenty of Democrats and Republicans alike, good people who work in the child safety areas, organizations, nonprofits, tech people, even some government type of offices, very upset about all of this because none of us signed up for any of this. Edie says the CEOs are responsible and parents busy letting AI babysit their kids, not knowing the facts. Well, Edie, I agree with all of that. We have to. We've all seen for years now. You really have to. A great resource is the book, The Anxious Generation by Dr. Jonathan Haidt, Haidt. Why I like it so much is because, well, number one, he got tremendous media play for what we talk about child safety, and we'll leave that for another time. But everybody had him on. He was the hot ticket for a while. The book now is approaching, it might be the New York Times bestseller list, maybe around week 95 by now. But why I like it, and I always call out good work, I don't care where you come from, who you are, right, is because it has stats and studies and carefully lays out the progression of how when the iPhone was introduced in 2008, we saw the decline of children in education, in mental health. Now, is that 100% accurate? We don't really know, but it's a big part of it because it was also when, remember, the iPhone is a computer. It's not just we call them phones. That is a computer in your hand. That is a gateway to everything. Okay. And I didn't know. Did you know? Everybody bought their kids iPhones. It was the hot item. Everybody wanted it for Christmas, Hanukkah, their birthday. We all went out and bought them because we did, if one kid has them, the other kid wants it, right? We didn't know, but now we know so much more since 2008. We have so many more platforms since 2008, so many more people on these platforms. Have we learned nothing from history to help us today? So getting back to Congress, they have to do something. There's nothing left to do than start holding these big tech platforms responsible. And it scares me. And I'm a warrior. I don't get scared because I don't see them being held responsible about anything. I see them at the dinner table. It is shocking. Shocking. So we have the Kids Online Safety Act. I hear, and I'll fill you in next week, should these bills come to the floor. I heard a bunch of child safety bills were going to be all lumped together and put into a package. Don't know if it's true. We'll see about that. Then I heard that the one thing, getting back to, if you look up Kids Online Safety Act, you'll see a lot of negative press. And that is designed by the big tech companies, their PR, right? And they know how to manipulate platforms. And that's all you'll see, perhaps. So you have to dig a little deeper. And there's one thing. 2 points they keep saying. This is banning privacy. Nobody's banning anybody's privacy. What about the privacy of children, minors under 18? Who's looking out for them? Okay, let's leave that. Number 2, our LGBTQIA plus community, it may be the only way they can search for help online. If they are banned from looking, total lies, total falsehoods. You can look under KOSA, Kids Online Safety Act, you can look and research any subject, including horrible ones, you want. But what it does, it has a provision of duty of care in this piece of legislation. And that simply says they will do everything in their power, that big tech company. They will not feed. Right now, we have plenty of whistleblowers. We know this, that the big tech companies are feeding dangerous algorithms to our children, to all of us. But right now, we're talking about the kids. Fred, maybe we could use AI to write a proposal legislation that would be powerful enough to regulate itself. I don't know, Fred, as I jump around here. It's frightening. It's frightening. Let me stick on one thing. I have so much to tell you, and I haven't been here in a while. We do have something called the AI Lead Act. Perhaps that will be lumped in with KOSA next week. I mean, it's the end of the year. We've got to get something going. Kids can't wait. Families can't wait. Kids are being harmed. The ultimate harm by big tech. It is a predator. It is a predatory machine. That is what it's become. A bunch of slop. Have you seen any of these references to online is now slop? I'm kind of agreeing with it, although we use it. We use it for business. I'm talking to you right now. You may be who knows where across the world. We're able to communicate, but that's leveraging the internet for good. But what they want to do now, I'm hearing, with Kids Online Safety Act, is attack that little duty of care. Then what kind of bill is this? That waters it down to basically nothing. It'll be more promises like we saw in front of Congress from these big tech CEOs. We're doing everything in our power to keep kids safe. There's not transparency at these companies. We don't know who these safety councils are, even if they have them. Are there 2 people on them? Are there 2 million people on them? Well, I'll go towards the 2 people. But we have millions and millions of people, including our kids, on these platforms. And it's nobody's fault, right? It's just been thrown at us. It's been thrown at the parents. It's been thrown at us. It's been thrown at the kids. But now we got to fight back. We got to step back. I always say that. And there are a lot of people doing just that. The first step back you can do is in this holiday season. If you're buying any kind of toy, make sure you look at it, you research it. Don't look for tags and instructions and directions because they're not putting it on the toys. Do your own research. Number 2, be very careful about buying toys online because a lot of toys come, and we never think about this, a lot of toys come from China. there's no regulation of things, right? You think there would be, but as far as we know, things are slipping by. Or even like, for instance, in New York here, we have Canal Street, always known for the fake pocketbooks and the fake designer goods and the fake this, the fake that. So these AI toys, you better believe they're probably down on Canal Street right now because they hit the street an hour later after the real toy machine horror story we're talking about today comes out, and somebody unwillingly could buy a plushie or a doll or a teddy bear. Where, and that's coming from China or who knows where, what's inside that? And where is that information going back to? And what about the parts themselves? Remember, we had lead in toys, we had all kinds of things going on, but nobody's looking at this. So we were so crazed about bicycle helmets and seat belts, but we're not crazed about any of this. And I don't understand why. This will change everything, this AI. So if you have a little infant, cute little teddy bear, then the child's 1, then the child's 2, then the child's 3, and that's their only friend. They'll listen to the teddy bear over mommy and daddy. They'll have no critical thinking. How is one to ever go to school and deal with other children or adults? It is a complete nightmare. Please, I will list it in the body of this video, the Fair Play Advisory, where our name proudly stands along with other organizations and child experts. We cannot buy these toys. I'm warning everybody. As a matter of fact, I'll be going tonight. I guess it's the morning, 1 a.m. to 2 a.m. We have Warrior Wednesday on WABC Radio, the other side of midnight, with my husband Lionel. I go on every Wednesday. I'm very blessed that he has me on to talk about the issues of the week, and I want to talk about AI toys and warn as many people. WABC is heard, I don't know, I think it's 200 countries around the world. It's huge. I want everybody. So it's your job. We like to give you homework at the Warriors to spread this awareness about all of this. Be very careful. And let's get back to those gift cards. Kids are gaming, right? It's easy to buy a $10 gift card where they can buy the little components for Roblox so they can build their gaming. Sounds good. Sounds educational, actually. Building games, coding. Don't do it. Don't do it, because all we have are these CEOs making trillions, not billions. I'm going to say trillions collectively off the backs of your hard-earned money and also off of our children. I don't understand our children, our future adults, our future leaders, what's going to happen to them, because K through 12, every grade is failing across our country, every state, as far as reading, writing, and arithmetic. A couple of the grades are in the 32 percentile for science, and that is not good enough. Where we applaud 32%. We know from our teachers they can't hold pencils, they can't track because they're used to swiping on devices, so they're not tracking. Remember when you read sentences in a book and stuff, you track. They're not doing it. Kids get bored, swipe to the next thing. We have a mess on our hands. And again, did we not learn anything? Since 2008, when the iPhone was introduced, and now we have these studies, and now we have these kids who grew up on the iPhone who are teenagers or in college, and look at our youth mental health problem. It's a combination of the cyberbullying is out of control, the eating disorders, you don't hear about that a lot, out of control, the competition online, okay? AI, the internet, could be used for such good tutorial purposes, right? And there are a lot of good things. We want to use all of this technology to empower, right? We need this. If our kids are failing throughout the entire country, I think that is shocking. Now, we did have last week, President Trump is dismantling the Department of Education. He is taking different chunks of it and putting it into, for instance, Health and Human Resources, Department of Interior. They can focus and concentrate. It's been kind of a cash cow, money wasteful machine. But that being said, he's putting the power, taking it out of the federal government for schools and putting it into the state, into the local. So we'll see how that plays out. This is all just happening. Laura's here. Welcome, Laura. And then we have an administration who says, okay, we're going to empower K through 12. We're going to have a nationwide initiative, AI in the schools. Nobody, as of today, because I asked somebody, what does this mean? And that was launched about a month ago. You can't just unleash AI. Teachers have to know how to deal with it and be trained. Parents, caregivers, and the children themselves. So we do things that are really good, like the Bell to Bell program, 22 states right now. Lori Lewis is here with a super sticker. Thank you, Lori. Greatly appreciate it, especially this time of year. We have our warriors' work cut out for us when we really go full in on the food, the gloves, the hats, the clothes for kids, the toys. We want every child to have a gift on Christmas or whatever holiday they celebrate. We want every family to have a meal with dignity, to feel just this time of year. So it's so important. Thank you, Lori, for doing that. We work so hard behind the scenes. It will ramp up beginning Friday, the day after Thanksgiving. It is so appreciated. I'm very humbled and honored. Thank you, Lori and Fred, for participating. But here's the thing. What's going to happen? We have the bell to bell. New York State, my home state, I'm proud to say, means you don't have your phone available from 9 to 3. We'll just say that as school may start at 8, 8 to 2, wherever you are. So 22 states are doing this. And we do have the reports. The kids are doing better academically. Teachers are saying they never thought they'd love noise because the cafeterias now are kids are screaming and yelling and playing. This is what kids are supposed to do, right? We need childhood. Let kids be kids. Let them fight. I mean, appropriately, talk, figure out how to come together, figure out how to compromise, figure out how to help each other. We need to be sharing, kindness and empathy because we've gotten away from that. But here's the thing. So we took the phones out of the classrooms, but now we're talking about putting the AI in the classroom. I'll take anything that's good. Phones in the classrooms, that's great. Get them out. But we're still talking about putting more technology in the classroom. We need to get our kids back to books. It's a terrific thing at baby showers now. The new thing is, I guess it's been going on for a while. I just went to a shower fairly recently. I was asked to, instead of a card, to bring a book so the child's library can build. Actually, 2 showers recently asked me to do that and put a little note in so that the child can build a library right off the get-go and then have a note from you. And I think that's a great idea. Books, and words. Words are free as well. Talking to our kids. But we cannot be using these devices as babysitting tools. Just because you want a quiet dinner, I'm sorry, in the restaurant, we used to have coloring books or little games or something, or a couple of Legos. We can't sit a kid, I've seen it repeatedly, on an airplane as well, definitely restaurants, on iPads. Remember, an iPad is a machine. It's opening the world up to predators. I have to be so loud about this, get louder about this. I need you to join me because we have so much going on. I'm going to need you next week when I see December 2nd, what this, if it happens, this package of bills, because the Kids Online Safety Act, we're in our 4th year of it. Again, let me remind you, bipartisan, no political party. Senator Marsha Blackburn, Senator Richard Blumenthal, both doing terrific child educational advocacy legislation to keep our kids safe. Okay? Remember, at the Warriors, we call out anybody doing good work. If you're doing good work, we separate it. Even if you've done something bad somewhere else, if you're doing something good for the kids, we take it. So I want to see, are they removing that duty of care? Why is big tech? They have so much money and they're fighting us on the AI. We held them back once about 6 weeks ago when beautiful advocates worked 72 hours straight, this AI moratorium, because the government wants no regulations with AI. They want them to have free reign. Can you imagine? Free reign? And so now we're faced with, perhaps, they're being very sneaky in Congress. I'll leave that for another program, sneaking it into the National Defense Act and making it sort of this executive order coming out of the White House. Perhaps, what we hear, we don't know yet, executive order that AI cannot be regulated because it's a national security threat. We have to have full employment of whatever they're doing. But in the meantime, the collateral damage are kids and us, because we as the adults have to handle this. So everybody's got to start stepping up in some way. Do not buy those gift cards for those gaming platforms. Buy a book instead and be vocal about it. Say, no, I hear there are predators on there. There are bad people on there. And talk to the kids. Remember, the kids are seeing and hearing everything these days. You may not think so. I've spoken to 7 and 8 year olds that are so smart. Why? Because they have an iPad and a phone and they've seen things. So we have to give out the correct information. I want all of our parents and grandparents to be empowered to feel good about the holiday season. Get back to arts and crafts. Get back to nature. I am not kidding. Remember all those, they still have them, those sets, growing plants, um, beading, paint by number, anything the kids can use their hands and focus for a while instead of this swipe generation, I call it, to calm their brains down, will make our lives easier as well. We got to look out for our kids. This is the true national security threat, what is happening right now, how our children are not being protected. And it's not just me sounding the alarm. There are great people across the United States, so you don't hear about them, right? You hear about the AI and how great it is. You hear about the government. You hear about all the fighting in Congress and this and that. Every member of Congress should be supporting, protecting our children, our future adults, our future leaders, and they're not. And they're not. And we're going to have to step up. So next week, I'll give you a follow-up. What happens, because we have several bills. We're concentrating on AI Lead Act, which means AI, artificial intelligence, should be treated as a product. And I'm all for that. It's fake. It's not real AI. Now, we'll get into, I'm sure on the other side of midnight with my husband tonight, we'll get into a couple of different variations of AI. I am focused right now on the AI in toys, education, but there's all kinds of AIs going on. Nobody can even keep up with all the AIs. And did you know right now that we know about, 5 different states are building the most massive AI data collection centers. I mean, massive. And isn't it interesting that in Speaker Mike Johnson's home state of Louisiana, one of the massive facilities, perhaps this is why he wasn't very helpful so far in bringing Kids Online Safety Act up for a vote, because it's all ready to go, past the Senate 91-3, almost unheard of, a year ago, July, and then there's been no movement on anything. All it needs to be, put on the floor, bring to a vote. Nothing's happened there. Interestingly enough, I don't know what happened to Ted Cruz. He went somewhere as well. He was very instrumental in the Take It Down Act that we were part of, and very honored to be in the Rose Garden with the president and our first lady when that was signed into legislation. But Ted Cruz is also in his home state of Texas. They're building a massive AI data collection storage center. I don't know what these facilities are called. Interestingly, how people get so quiet, right? And 3 other states. What does that mean for you? You may say none of this has anything to do with anything, but I venture to say if you're here listening to the Warriors, you're interested. You want to see your friends, Edie and Fred, talking back and forth, and Lori, and that's fine, but you want to hear the information, or you want to know something. And what I want to say about all this is that your electric bills, if nothing else, this is the reason, and I keep saying this because nobody seems to know this, why are your electric bills sky high? Doubling, tripling. I know in the state of New Jersey, most people have reported their bill has tripled in the last year, because AI takes up so much of all the energy, and it's only going to get worse. So the bills will get higher and higher. We're paying for this predation. Can you imagine? Unbelievable. So I want to finish up with thanking Fred, thanking Lori, thanking Edie for always pushing the likes. It doesn't cost you a thing to like these videos, to share these videos, to make sure you're subscribed to our channel. Edie says, maybe Ted Cruz is on a cruise. Yeah, his own cruise. I'll leave it at that. They don't want to get primary by big tech, Fred says. Well, then you know what? They're not working for us. They got to move over. They got to move over because we see what's happening. We see how young people are disillusioned. We see how young people then, look, We have online things like the incels, the terror group 764, started by teenagers. We saw with Charlie Kirk, all these young people across our country, they're looking to land somewhere. They're looking for community. And when they don't find it, they'll fall into these fringe groups. This is what's happening. And, fueled by the internet. Because you can be alone with your computer 24 hours a day. You can find people all over the world who will commiserate with you or will suggest things. And when you're vulnerable and weak or perhaps lonely, there's a terrific interview I put up today with Jennifer Gallardi from the Heritage Foundation. And she wrote an op-ed about how many young women, like we kind of knew this, but we didn't know the extent of it. How many young women are on SSRIs, and it's become like an accessory. You do it out in the open, you pop a pill at the dinner table with your friends, and everybody's like, "Oh yeah, I'll be on this for the rest of my life." "Oh, are you on this?" We're talking SSRIs, right? Everybody Prozac, Lexapro, antidepressants. And it's just kind of become this designer cool thing for them. And Jennifer is a health and wellness expert, decades of experience, and she points out she didn't realize this. She went back to school for a degree, and she was a bit older than all the kids, and notice how they freely talk about this and they accept, I've got the anxiety, and it's just so debilitating. And I even noticed maybe about 10 years ago, every teen I ran into would, I got to chill, I got anxiety. It just was like the go-to words. I got anxiety, you're giving me anxiety. That makes me anxious. Medication. So I suggest that interview. It's interesting. What's the bottom line that Jennifer Gallardi says? Get back to nature. Everything we preach at the Warriors, and I mean preach, because we Warriors are at an emergency right now. That being said, I'm going to try to jump on tomorrow as well. We're entering what is my favorite. It's my favorite holiday, Thanksgiving, because it's about friends and family and cooking and being together and feeling good. And I will share with you about New York City. I noticed this year there seems to be a lot of good things happening outside. A lot of the stores are decorated early. This is the earliest I ever remember. I mean, 2 weeks ago, stores were decorated. Lots of lights up, lots of tourists, right? I'm seeing them all over. That's a good sign. Shopping tourists. We're going to have the big Christmas tree lighting. We've got the Rockettes last night, opened up Fifth Avenue in front of Saks and did their whole routine. So there's a lot of feel good out there. Let us remember in this season of giving and gratitude, being kind to each other, helping each other, talking, listening. That's the gift for kids, not actual presents. Listening to them, talking to them, making them feel important, mentoring them, just giving them your time. That is the gift, and your patience. And with that, I want everybody to go. I don't know where you are. Have a great evening. I'm here in New York, so it's evening. Have a great, if I don't get back on tomorrow, I'm going to really try to, because I have something I want to share, and I think it's breaking tomorrow, and I want to break it. Please, again, subscribe to our channel. Please look at our interviews. Please leverage the internet for good. Talk to anybody with kids, appropriately that you can. We're not attacking anybody. We're sharing information. And tune in tonight, or I guess it's this morning, the other side of midnight, wabcradio.com. Download the app. I'm going to go at it with my husband because he's got some interesting takes about, there's so many different AIs out there. As I pointed out, I'm focused on children and safety and parents. He's talking about things I heard him earlier talking about. I can't even keep up with. I will, but I'm behind him. I'm lagging behind. So that'll be interesting. And always tune in to the Cats Roundtable on Sunday mornings. Also, WABC Radio, the Cats Roundtable with host John Katzmatidis on the national version, where I spotlight something. And what do you think I'm talking about this week? You got it right. AI toys. So with that, everybody, go have a pleasant evening, day, wherever you are. Thank you. Thank you. But let's kick it up a notch. Let us be the leaders. Let us show the kids we are the true warriors. Thank you.